Hello everyone, in this video, we will be implementing mobile compatibility for our Vampire Survivor series.
So really, whenever you want to port a game, you want to look for how the game is controlled, and then you want to port all of these controls over to, let's say if you're doing it on mobile, then you want to think about how do you port the game over to mobile. So Vampire Survivors is a pretty simple game. You have just 4 directions to move, right? That's really all. So what you really need in the mobile version of the game is you just need a joystick, and then you just need to map the controls over to a joystick. Okay, so usually when we want to port games over to mobile, the first thing that I will look for is I will look to install this thing called the device simulator. What the device simulator does is that it allows you to tap between the game view and the simulator view. When you're in the simulator view, you are simulating how the game will feel and how the game will look like on a mobile device. There's this whole article on how to get the device simulator installed. If you're using Unity's version 2021 and above, you won't have to install this, but because I'm using 2020, I will have to do this installation. So what I did was I went to Window and I went to Package Manager right here. And from here, what I want to do is I want to find preview packages. So I'm going to go to Advanced Project Settings and enable preview packages. Right now, if I were to go back here, and if I were to go to the registry, I should be able to find a device simulator right here. And what I want to do is just install this. So once I've done that, you will see that there is a little drop down here, and I can change between the mobile view and the game view. For getting the game on mobile itself, we just have to add a joystick because Vampire Survivors only move in 4 directions, right? For this occasion, I actually have a asset package that I was going to release. I have this folder here. I'm just going to remove the git folder and let's go back to the project. I'm just going to go to assets folder and just drop in VirtualJoystick. When you download our package, you will find a couple of joystick prefabs. What you want to do with your joystick prefab is just pull one joystick that you like onto your canvas, and then once you've done that, you want to increase the size of the joystick. You want to make sure to use the buttons over here instead of using the size over here, because the joystick contains other components inside. So if you were to increase the size of the joystick like this, you're going to increase only the outer component, right? So just click on these buttons. So you design these buttons for you so that you can increase the joystick with very little hassle. So I'm also going to shift the joystick a little off center like this. So for 115 and 115. Sorry, off the corner, not off center. So what you want to do over here is that the joystick itself can be pretty hard to use if it's not configured properly. So like for example over here, it can be hard to hold on to the joystick. If you move too fast, the joystick sometimes will lose control and then it will just snap back. So what you want to do then is a couple of options you have. One option here is called Edge Snap, and what Edge Snap does is it allows you to set the directions that you want to snap your joystick to. So if I have Edge Snap of 8 directions, for example, right, you will find that the joystick snaps to one of the 8 directions over here. Okay, so it's a little wonky right now because the joystick's radius is very large, and I'm gonna reduce the radius of the joystick to be a smaller value like that. Reason for that is because if I do this, then now I will be able to snap the joystick to the edge like that. So the other thing that you want to play around with as well is the snap to touch option over here. So the snap to touch option, you will find that you're able to set a width and a height, and what this does is that this will draw a box like that on your screen. So what is the purpose of this box here? The purpose of this box here is if you have snap to touch enabled, wherever you tap on the screen, the joystick will just jump over. So this makes it easy to use the joystick because the full screen, if it's too small, it can be hard to just put your finger on the joystick itself. So a couple of other settings you can play around with. There is a link that you can refer where we document all the possible properties that you can adjust with the joystick. So once you have the joystick ready, it's very simple to just implement it into your game. All you want to do is just head over to player movement here. Just head over to input management, and then what you want to do is change your code as follows: move X, Y if you have a virtual joystick on the screen, So to use the virtual joystick, you will have to go to using. So we have branded joysticks, you see, which is why you gotta put this. Okay, so then here we just call connective instances if there is more than one joystick on the screen. Our move X is going to be input, get axis, draw. Sorry, it's not input here. So now this will become virtual joystick, the horizontal. Then move Y is going to be get axis, draw, and then vertical. So basically what it says is, in our code here is, if there are joysticks on the screen, you will move using the joystick. Otherwise, you will move using the keyboard. So by implementing this, you will see that now if I move the joystick around, the character starts moving. Yeah, so here we have a mobile version of the game that's working just by adding a joystick and then a couple of changes to our mobile code. So when you build your game, if you want to make your game playable only on landscape, what you can do is when you build the game, right, under Android here, if you go to player settings, right, there is an option for you to go to resolution and presentation, and then from here you can check which directions you want your game to be playable on. So if you don't want your game to be playable on portrait, you only want landscape to be playable, then you can just check landscape left, landscape right. This will probably make your game a little more palatable, if you get what I mean. Because our game was built on landscape, right? So if you were to make your game landscape only, this will make the mobile interface a lot more friendly. Yeah, but there you have it. Alright, so that's it for the mobile adaptation.